everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Christine. I'm here to do my weekly wrap up. It's been a long day, a couple of days. So I only finished one book this week, and I'll kind of explain why. It was The Librarian Spy by Madeline Martin. I gave it a 4. I was expecting more of the messages to each other and the codes. There was one. So this whole book is based on Ava, who went from the Library of Congress in DC to Lisbon, Portugal, to work photocopying, scanning, all these different publications to send back to the States in order to help with the war effort. And she got that job because she could speak not only English, but French and German. Yeah. And then Elaine was in France, and Nazi-occupied France. And her husband gets arrested. So she decides to join the rebellion and try and help in the war effort to get the Nazis out of France. A family, or a mother and son, are looking to be got out of France to get away because they're Jewish. So she puts this code into a publication and it makes its way to Lisbon, to Ava. And she deciphers the code and tries to help get this family out of France. That being said, the first couple of beginning was very slow. Sorry, I have an eyelash in my eye. It did pick up, but I was expecting more codes and more back and forth trying to figure things out. Overall, it was still a good book, though. And then that I finally finished that on last Wednesday. And I've been reading. Let me grab the books here. I made headway in Stealing Infinity. So it's a time travel book. So I finished The Librarian Spy on Wednesday. Friday, we drove to Ottawa because, my husband's nephew lives in Ottawa. We actually stayed in Canada, which is just outside of Ottawa. We actually stayed a field away from the Canadian Tire Center because we didn't. My husband's nephew got us an Airbnb in Canada. And me, my husband's nephew, and our son all went to the Iron Maiden concert in Canada, or Ottawa. And then we drove back, Saturday we drove into Ottawa, did a little bit of shopping. Saturday night was a concert, and Sunday we drove home. And if you've ever, it's a 9-hour drive one way. With my back injury, not fun. But anyways, so I only got a little bit of reading done on this because trying to read in a car with my husband's driving, not happening. He's a wicked ass driver. I'll just leave it at that. So, currently reading is Stealing Infinity. This is how far I'm in now. So 292 pages of, 480. And she's just doing her first time travel trip. There's a lot of build up to it, a lot of lead time. But I thought, the smaller chapters, you can get through it really quickly. But there's so much at the beginning of it. It's still good, though. So I'm enjoying it. And now that I can actually sit down and relax, because yesterday, the reason I didn't do a video is because I had to catch up on 2 orders that had to go out yesterday. That was a thing. They got out. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to do a video yesterday because I did like 8 hours of work. on top of being in pain. Anyways. So yeah, I'm 3/4 of the way through. 2/3, you know. So this is about time travel. She just turned 18. Love interest, you know. And then I picked up this and I read almost 2/3 of it just last night. And I mean, I started it around 4 o'clock. And then I also picked up another book. So yeah, I read this much last night. It's big print, but it is Adopted Parents by Candy Halliday. It's about a man and a woman whose brother and sister were married, and they get into a car accident and die. And their 2-year-old adopted daughter is now left parentless. And they have to take care of the girl until new adopted parents are found, because her sister and his brother want a set of parents. They don't want just one person raising their daughter. She's also non-communicative. She's from Vietnam, and she's the way their orphanages there are, you just are set in the crib. You are left alone unless you are hungry or you need a changing. Other than that, there's no interaction with people. So this child is uncommunicative. I think that's how you say that word. So yeah, and let's see, Hallie and Nate, I think. Yeah. Hallie had a thing for Nate 10 years ago when she started at this television station. And Nate said, no, I'm too old for you. And he had her transferred out. So she was pissed off. So for 10 years, they've been non-talking. So that's what that's about. I know I didn't do much for Stealing Infinity, but it's pretty much teenagers who time travel. And the reason why they time travel isn't told until 2/3 of the way, so I won't say that. But I'm still trying to, you're still finding out things. So then I picked up Joanne Fluke's Lemon Meringue Pie Murder. It's book 4 in the Hannah Swenson series. Yeah, there's a novella in between 1 and 2, but yeah, I just read two chapters last night. This has to go back to library, so I'm substituting this into one of my Triple RC Challenge books with something sweet on the cover, even though there's a skull on it. This one just starts out that one of her love interests, because she's got two, a cop and a dentist. The dentist is buying a house from this woman who had inherited it from somebody else, I think. And he wants to raise it and build the dream home that him and Hannah had designed. Now, I don't remember them doing this contest in the last book where they had to design a house and they won. So I don't know if that was in the previous book or if it's just something that's mentioned, like that happened in the interim in between the two books. But he says that, well, I'm going to build our dream home. But he hasn't asked her to marry him. And so she's kind of like, but it's our house, but, you know. So that's as far as I've gotten. That's pretty much it. And then I'm just kind of thinking about reading this one because this is the actual oldest book on my shelf. Not published book, but oldest original published book. And I'm going to use this for one of the A Million More Pages for reading the oldest published book on your shelf. Because the actual oldest book that's been published on my shelf, or the earliest published book, is William Shakespeare's Hamlet. I've already read that years and years ago. So I've never read this. Perfect month to read it. So I'm probably just going to do like 2 chapters a day until it's done. and it's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I've never read this. This was going to be in my video for books I can't believe I haven't read. Still trying to get that. I'm trying to find copies of the books to do that video. But this is one of the books that I have not read. So, perfect time for reading it. And then I'm also, like, this is going into the books that I plan on reading this week. This one I will start today because it's one story a day until Halloween. And it's Slasher Girls and Monster Boys stories selected by April Genevieve Tohoke. And there's 14 scary stories. I'm looking forward to the Jay Kristoff one. And Jonathan Mayberry. So, that's what I plan on reading this week. I'm also going to do a book haul, and I'll do an Ozempic update real quick, because I forgot to do it last week. So I ended up gaining a pound, and then I gained another pound. This week, on Friday, while I was actually in Ottawa, I did the higher dose. I'm now up to 0.5 of Ozempic. And I can already say it's starting to work a lot better. The first month is just pretty much getting it into your system, which is what I thought. I'm already down, I think, 2 pounds. So, the appetite suppressant's definitely there. Energy, not so much. But I think I need to start back up on my iron pills, because that's a family thing for us. So, fingers crossed that this is the dose that's going to be working for me for a little while. We shall see. So, I did get 2 Harlequin subscription boxes. I didn't do a unboxing time. So, I'm going to be canceling the one. Hubby said if I really want to keep the other one, because I got it today and I'm like, I don't want to cancel it. He said, then keep it. So, I'm going to be canceling this one because a lot of the time, the authors, I don't know, and the books, you put them into Goodreads and they're either in the other language or they don't exist. So, the first one is the Essential Suspense. Sorry. So, the 4 books I got damaged, is Michael Neiman's Percentages of Guilt, and I think this is part of a series. I'm not sure if it is. He's got 4 other books, but I don't know if it's part of the same part of the series. So, is this one I really don't know. I don't want to read too much into them in case they are, and it's like 3 or 4 books down the line. The other one I've never heard of is Call Me Elizabeth Lark by Melissa Colasanti. I've heard of her, Colasanti. And this one I think is part of a series as well. Oh, maybe not. So yeah, it's suspense. These 2 I have. This one is going to be in one of my, is it Triple RC or my Million More Pages? But I know I posted in one of my TBRs. And this is The Other Misses by Mary Kubica. I believe this is a standalone. So it's Sadie and Will Faust have only just moved their family from bustling Chicago to small town Maine when their neighbor Morgan Baines is found dead in her home. The murder rocks their tiny coastal island, but no one is more shaken than Sadie. As the eyes of suspicion turn toward the new family in town, Sadie is drawn into the mystery of Morgan's death. But Sadie must be careful, for the more she discovers about Mrs. Baines, the more she begins to realize just how much she has to lose if the truth ever comes to light. So, yeah. And then my mom loves reading this author. I do not know. This is a series, so I'm not going to read because I don't know what number it is. At least 5 anyways. Sorry. And it's J.A. Jance's Nothing to Lose, in a J.P. Beaumont novel. Like, my mom loves J.A. Jance. I've never read anything by her. So, and then the 4 romance novels. The first one, I've heard of 3. Yeah, 3 of the authors. The first 3, well, 2 of them are from Harlequin. One is from Mira, and one is from Carina Press, and those are subsidiaries of Harlequin, if I'm not mistaken. The first one is Shine Like Silver by Alicia Hunter Pace. I've never heard of her, but this is a series. And what's the name of the series? Good Southern Woman series, and it's book 3, so I'm not going to read anything about that one. This is the Essential Romance package, or subscription box from Harlequin that I'm keeping. And the next one is Sheila Roberts' A Little Christmas Spirit. I've never read anything by her, I don't think, but I've got a couple of her books. I don't know if this is part of a series either. But it's a Christmas story. So I don't know. She's got so many different series that it might just be like a standalone Christmas book. But yeah, A Little Christmas Spirit. Cute little dog. I can't have dogs. I'm violently allergic to them, but much to my husband's demise. So we have 4 cats. The next one is Susan Mallory's The Christmas Wedding Guest. Again, I don't know if this is part of a series. I should have looked into it. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get this up and done while I have the chance. So, and then the last one I got is The Duke Not Taken, a royal match novel. So it's part of a series by Julia London, and it looks historical. It doesn't actually say historical; it just says romance. But also from the Royal Match series is Last Duke Standing, so I'm assuming this is book 2 then. I have a feeling that, oh yeah, Last Duke Standing is number 1, The Duke Not Taken is number 2. So that is it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on any of the books. We did have a good time at Iron Maiden. They put on a hell of a show. And yeah, so that's it for today. Let me know if you've read any of these, or if you know if they're part of series or whatever. I'll try and put links down below to them. Might be an undertaking I can save for next week. I'm sorry. I'm tired. It's been a long weekend, sorry. Yeah. So I hope everybody has a wonderful week, and don't forget to hit the like button and comment and subscribe. I'll see you next week. Bye.